Hey folks, welcome back to Indaba Africa. This is Chris. And Windhoek has a new mayor. Indeed, after the recent regional and local elections just took place in Namibia last week, we see that Windhoek has selected a new mayor as a consequence of a coalition. Since independence in 1990, Windhoek has been governed exclusively by Southwest Africa People's Organization, or SWAPO, the ruling party at the national level, and they've controlled Windhoek, the national capital, ever since 1990. However, they had 12 seats in 2015. They're down to just 5 seats now, ladies and gentlemen, just 5 seats after losing control of the city to the opposition parties. None of the parties had 50 plus 1, so they couldn't pick a mayor on their own. They had to come to an agreement to form a coalition in order to pick the mayor. And the winner is Job Amupanda. Job Amupanda, who's well known famously for being a land thief, one could argue. That's not meant to be inciting anything, just stating the facts. He illegally occupied land, which one was the Klein Kupa, that's right, it was Klein Kupa plot. He grabbed that illegally, and this started his group called Affirmative Repositioning, the AR movement, as a political vehicle. And last year, in September of 2019, he announced that he had the dream, the aspiration of becoming the mayor of Windhoek. Well, his party, the AR, secured just 2 of the 15 seats on the Windhoek Council. 2. But nonetheless, he will be the mayor in an unopposed election, as the 4 parties that are forming the coalition to rule the city agreed that he would be the candidate. So this should be interesting to see what happens. This is historic. This is the first opposition party mayor to occupy the city since independence. That's amazing. It's the first time in 30 years. So this is falls on the heels of SWAPO's disastrous regional and local election results, in which they lost control of 30 town and village councils across the country. Unbelievable. They had some amazing things, including a party that just formed, the Independent Patriots for Change, or IPC, just formed in August, managed to capture Swakopmund and 4 of the seats in Windhoek, as well as seats around other places of the country. Something amazing. Now, yesterday on the 2nd of December, we saw that Amupanda was sworn in as mayor, and he was deputized, and the Independent Patriots for Change counselor and former executive manager for community development at the city council, that's Philemon Hambuda, was elected as chairperson of the management committee for the city of Windhoek. All 5 of the SWAPO councilors who remain on the city council and the 2 Landless People's Movement members were made ordinary members of the council. So this 4-party coalition is now ruling Windhoek for the time being. We'll see what happens. This is quite interesting development. Amupanda had a lot of things to say. A lot of quotes. Let me give you some of the quotes he's talking about here. He said some of the issues that the council is going to address is they're going to deal with speeding up servicing of residential plots, cutting out the middleman in the tender process, and introducing a housing fund for the municipality. He had the following to say: the colleagues in management from today on know you are no longer going to run the policy direction of the city. Know that your responsibility is in management, not in the political leadership, but the administration of the city. If we work together, it's going to be nice, but know that we will not hesitate to fire you. So we need to be able to work together. Well, there's a shot across the bow to the bureaucracy to not try to run events. Politicians make the decisions, according to Job. Interesting. Not exactly out of the norm for much of the world. He also wants the new council to investigate several suspected illegal deals that the outgoing leadership engaged the city in, as well as he wants the council to conduct an audit to determine what Windhoek actually has on hand. Well, that's reasonable. It's reasonable. William the Conqueror did the Doomsday Book because he wanted to know what he got after conquering England. So there you go. He says, we're going to come after those things. We will not let that precedent stand. We also want to understand what it is out there, the city of Windhoek, so that we can deal with issues from a scientific approach. I'm not sure where the scientific comes in there, but from a reasonable approach makes sense. He said, we have a tough task in hand. There are many people who have been enjoying the patronage of resources. Ain't that the truth? They're going to be working very hard for us to fail. Deep staters. It will not be us as individuals who are going to fail, but the people of Namibia. Let's hope for us to not fail, but we must be able to work together. Interesting. Now, we know that Job is a bit of a what's the word I'm looking for here? Instigator in some respects. For instance, his position about just taking land that didn't belong to him, he thinks that's perfectly acceptable. He also likes to play a little bit of the race baiting game with the discussion of colonialism, forgetting a fact, of course, that all the Bantu people in Namibia who are there are actually colonists. The Khoisan, or the original inhabitants, of Namibia, just like there are Botswana, Zimbabwe, and South Africa. But that seems to be lost on this gentleman. But Job Amupanda had the following the things he says. He says he's going to refuse to wear the mayoral badge or chain that goes around the neck of mayors. I actually personally think it's kind of a silly thing. It's a European sort of tradition. He said it represents nothing. He said the chain is an instrument of colonial legacy and does not represent a show of service delivery. Okay, so why make a show of actually putting the thing aside and not wearing it? Why don't you just answer the question if someone asks why you're not wearing it? No, he wants to make a show of it because he's race baiting here. That's what he's doing. So he said the chain will be put in a museum as a tourist attraction. Sure, until you're voted out of office and replaced, and then whoever comes in as mayor will probably take it out of the museum and put it back around their neck and adorn themselves. Traditions are hard to get rid of, even when they're adopted traditions. Look at the Herero people. Look at the dress, the style of dress that women have. It's not a consequence of African development. It's a consequence of Rhenish missionaries arriving in Namibia, German Southwest Africa, and spreading the gospel, and the Herero adopting it and adopting the Victorian era style of dress to this day. So traditions are hard to jettison, whether you like it or not. So anyway, I get his point, though. He's trying to draw attention to the role of the mayor and of the city council is to meet the needs of the city. And in that, I support the new mayor. Interesting. He said, nobody got 50 plus 1 in the Windhoek Council, so this is going to be a collective leadership. Some of you have been praying that we are unable to produce leadership. We managed to prove that we were able to work together, and we're trying to find a working formula. Don't get used to Job as the mayor. Tomorrow, you're going to have a mayor from the IPC, Nundo, LPM, PDM, or maybe from Southwest Africa. Because of collective leadership, things are going to change, and all of us are in charge. Well, I'm not really sure what he's getting at. Is he talking about potentially that they're going to have a rotating mayorship? That's not exactly a recipe for success, ladies and gentlemen. If Job wants the office, then he should take a hold of the reins and take it very seriously and do the job effectively for the residents of Windhoek. He should also jettison the abandonment of the rule of law, encouraging people to occupy land that doesn't belong to them. That's not productive for anyone. It's counterproductive. And that's how he rose to fame, of course, with his famous land grab and supporting those land grabs. Additionally, references to colonialism are just, it's a tired horse. Let go of it. If you don't want to wear the mayor's chain, then put it in storage. There's no reason for you to wear it if you don't want to wear it. But to just try to associate it with colonialism in an effort to stoke racial discord is unnecessary. Again, folks, a four-party coalition has selected its mayor for Windhoek, and that is Job Amupanda. Congratulations, Job Amupanda, and to the four-party coalition, which has unseated SWAPO for the first time in the history of independent Namibia. So we see a first time ever an opposition party mayor. Now, affirmative repositioning has just 2 seats on this council out of 15. Let's see how long Job survives in this position. Of course, he's already given us the impression that he will be leaving the job at some time prematurely because it may be a rotating council. Is that what he meant? I'm not sure. Anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. If you're not a subscriber to Chris White Africa, I ask that you take a moment and become a subscriber by smashing that subscription button right down there. And be sure to toggle the bell icon because that gets you notifications of upcoming videos, live streams, and things like that. If you'd like to leave a comment, you're welcome to do it. And abusive comments will simply be deleted, and you'll be the subject of an abusive comments video. Finally, I ask that you smash the like button because likes drive viewership, and that really is important to grow support for the channel so that people get analysis on news events that is alternative, not simply what the mainstream feeds you. Anyway, congratulations once again to the opposition parties for taking over Windhoek, and to the IPC, the Independent Patriots for Change, who came in second. 5 seats for SWAPO, 4 seats for the IPC. They came in second. Not enough to run things, but for now they've formed an unopposed election to elect this gentleman, Job Amupanda, as the new mayor for Windhoek. We'll see how this goes, folks, how long the coalition holds together. Whatever the case is, this might be, in some people's minds or eyes, a model for coalition governance in South Africa. I don't think that it's a good model necessarily. We'll see how it goes in Windhoek. The best approach is to win outright majorities, and then you can form coalitions. When you have a coalition from a position of weakness, then you are dependent on your partners and their legitimacy. And if they want something that's not legitimate, it's unlawful, you're kind of an impasse. You have to collapse your government and let someone else form a government, or you have to go along with the corruption. And a lot of people don't want to be corrupt. So thanks a lot, folks. Take care and have a good day.